Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. ثم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الذي فرض عليك القرآن لرادك إلى معاد قل ربي أعلم من جاء بالهدى ومن هو في ضلال مبين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. One of the things that's interested me in Quranic studies for a long time has been how the arguments of the Qur'an are organized and how a surah is one cohesive argument. How, different bits of a surah, they come together. And the example of that I want to share with you is actually from Surah Qasas itself, the surah, the ending passages, some things of which I was sharing with you about the story of Qarun. Allah Azza wa Jalla at the end of the surah gives a promise to the Prophet ﷺ. The last passage of it is directly Allah addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Most of the surah was the story of Musa and Fir'aun. And then towards the end, Musa and Qarun. That's Qarun and his community, really. Qarun and his community. And then there's this final passage. And this final passage, Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِي فَرَضَ عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ, the one who has mandated, no doubt about it, the one who's mandated the Qur'an on you, لَرَادُّكَ إِلَى مَعَادٍ, is going to bring you back to the place of return. Ma'ad is the dharf of عَادَ يَعُودُ. What does عَادَ يَعُودُ mean? To return. Ma'ad is the place you have to go back to. So the Prophet ﷺ is promised that he'll be brought back to the place that he's supposed to come back to. لَرَادُّكَ إِلَى مَعَادٍ. Now, you see, in this surah, Allah Azza wa Jalla talked about Musa alayhi salam in the very beginning, and he was separated from his mother, and Allah promised his mother, إِنَّا رَادُّهُ إِلَيْكِ, we'll bring him back to you. And under the most impossible circumstances, she was reunited with her child. At the end of at the end of this surah, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the way, this is late Meccan, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is already being taught to be mentally prepared to leave Mecca. Where is he going to go when he leaves Mecca? He's going to head to Medina. So he's mentally already being prepared that he has to go. But even though he has to go, Allah is telling him, the one who mandated this Qur'an on you will make sure that you come back to the place you're supposed to come back to. And already in the surah has been a case study of somebody who was separated. The mother was separated from the child. Rasulullah will be separated from his motherland, which is Mecca. And he'll be brought back to it, subhanAllah. And then, قُلْ رَبِّي أَعْلَمُ مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْهُدَى وَمَنْ هُوَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Just say, my master knows better who came with guidance. وَمَنْ هُوَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ, and who is openly in misguidance. These are almost exactly the words that are repeated by Musa alayhi salam centuries ago in this same surah. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِآيَاتِنَا بَيِّنَاتٍ قَالُوا مَا هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ مُفْتَرًى. The next ayah, وَقَالَ مُوسَى رَبِّي أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ جَاءَ بِالْهُدَى مِنْ عِنْدِهِ. My master knows better who came with guidance. Musa alayhi salam's words are being told to have almost has been a preparation for what Rasul should be saying to his people. Repeat those words. And then, وَمَا كُنْتَ تَرْجُوا أَنْ يُلْقَى إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ. You weren't hoping to come into contact with the book, that the book would be given to you, would be cast onto you. You weren't hoping for that. Who else was not hoping for revelation and came upon it? Musa alayhi salam, in the same surah. He wasn't hoping for it, it just came upon him. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ, except as a mercy from Allah, and that's what it was for him. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ ظَهِيرًا. Then don't be a supporter for disbelievers. فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ ظَهِيرًا لِلْكَافِرِينَ. Don't be a supporter, don't back up the disbelievers. Now, Musa alayhi salam had some affinity to his own people that were oppressed. And as a result of that affinity, he rushed to judgment and punched a guy, and the guy died. You know the story? Right? It was a result of his affinity that he rushed to judgment and realized that was a mistake. Once he realized his mistake, you know what he said to Allah? فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. I will not back up criminals ever again. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who might he have affinity for as a result of being from them? Quraysh. So it's not in the case of Musa alayhi salam, he won't back up criminals ever again. In the case of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's told, don't ever back up, don't support just because they're your people, the Quraysh. The lessons taught from Musa's life, and finally the khutbah is given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then finally, وَلَا يَصُدُّنَّكَ عَنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ بَعْدَ إِذْ أُنْزِلَتْ إِلَيْكَ. They shouldn't obstruct you from the ayat of Allah after they've been revealed to you. After what revelation has come to you, they should not be able to obstruct you. Don't dare allow them to stop you from the ayat of Allah. Who seems to have those instructions before? No matter what comes, you go and deliver the message. Musa alayhi salam. The same thesis continuing. And then this is the last ayah of the surah. وَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything is to die. And halik, I told you about halaka, right? What's the difference between that and mayyit and mata yamutu and maut? What kind of death is it? It's a violent death. Everything will die, and Allah mentions a violent death here. Specific to the surah. There are two violent deaths already mentioned of people who thought they had some kind of power. Which two? Fir'aun, Haman and his armies, and then Qarun. Allah says, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything will die, except his face. لَهُ الْحُكْمُ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. He alone controls all dominion. He has the power. And to him you have to go back anyway. So coming back to Makkah or not, you have to come back to Allah. And all of you will be returned back to him. SubhanAllah. So the reason I shared this with you, how Qur'an, when Allah even tells the surah, the Prophet ﷺ is seeing it as a lesson to him. And then it becomes explicitly clear at the end. This, by the way, also happens in Surah Yusuf. You would think Surah Yusuf is the surah of the story, right? It is, if there is a story surah in the Qur'an, it's Surah Yusuf. Same thing happens in Surah Yusuf. By the end, Allah gives a sermon to His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah help us appreciate the power and the organization and the beauty of the messaging of the Qur'an. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.